So in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and fuck off, okay? So, it's already 3 hours long. Our next presenter starred in Netflix's Bird Box, a movie where people survive by acting like they don't see a thing. Sort of like working for Harvey Weinstein. You did it. I didn't. You did it. Shut the fuck up.
A scandal that reaches from beyond the grave.
This is where the house of cards starts falling.
As the disgraced financier's dirty secrets threaten to tear down society's most powerful.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror.
It's a serious question. Do you think you're the devil himself?
The Chris Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker.
Oh,
not Smokey.
Oh, Lord.
JayZ shot 3 videos on Epstein Island with supermodels that were under the age of 18 that were provided by Naomi Campbell.
These Epstein-like characters have existed throughout history, whether they were kings or what, human beings are human beings universally, so.
In 2020, Ricky Gervais stepped onto the Golden Globe Awards stage and did something no one else dared to do. He looked directly at Hollywood's biggest stars sitting in front of him, and Ricky mentioned Jeffrey Epstein to the very celebrities in that room who knew him well. The same people who had flown on his private jet and attended parties on his island. The exact same individuals stayed silent while he preyed on young victims. At the time, those celebrities who had connections to Epstein laughed nervously, and Gervais smiled as if he understood something the rest of us would only discover later. Now, years have passed, and the files are finally beginning to surface. The names of Epstein's well-known associates are starting to appear, and some of Hollywood's biggest figures are behaving in unusual ways. Many of them have suddenly gone quiet. Others, like Ellen DeGeneres, have even left the country. Ricky Gervais warned them. He stood on that stage and called out the darkness openly.
If ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent, wouldn't you? So, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and off, okay?
Ricky Gervais has hosted the Golden Globe Awards 5 times, and every time he's done the same thing, Ricky has always spoken the truth.
On a serious note, just looking at all the faces here reminds me of some of the great work that's been done this year by cosmetic surgeons.
To understand why Ricky Gervais is relevant again today, you need to understand what he did that night in January 2020. He walked onto that stage knowing exactly what he was going to say. More importantly, he knew exactly who he was saying it to. Inside that room were some of the most powerful figures in the entertainment industry. People who had built entire careers on carefully crafted public images. Individuals who had attended Jeffrey Epstein's events, flown on his aircraft, and visited his private island. And people who had remained silent for years. Gervais cleverly began by promoting his series Afterlife, a show
entire first season of Afterlife instead of watching the show. That's a show about a man who wants to kill himself because his wife dies of cancer, and it's still more fun than this, okay? Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
For a brief moment, no one reacted, and the cameras tried to shift away, but everyone in the room felt it. Ricky Gervais had just said the one thing no one was supposed to say publicly. He pointed out the uncomfortable truth that everyone was pretending didn't exist. And despite the humor in his delivery, he was not joking. Gervais was exposing the hypocrisy of the celebrities in that room who had connections to Jeffrey Epstein. The same individuals who smiled for photos with a man accused of running a trafficking operation. The same people who stayed silent while serious accusations surrounded him. But this wasn't the first time Gervais had used his platform to hint at deeper truths. During that same awards show, when he mentioned Epstein's circle, he also made a comment that seemed like a joke.
In this room are some of the most important TV and film executives in the world, people from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. He's coming for you.
At the time, celebrities laughed because they believed it was just another one of Gervais' jokes. But he wasn't joking. He was sending a message that their secrets were not as safe as they believed, that someone was watching, and that the pressure was building. Gervais has always been open about his approach. In interviews, he has explained that when hosting an award show, he faces a choice. He can write jokes that make celebrities feel comfortable, flatter them, and appeal to their egos. Or he can speak to the millions of viewers watching at home.
I've just met these 40 people whose lives were destroyed, and they're out in the elements, living with that and the fact that they're not going to be able to get those lives back. That this is a new reality for them.
You knew Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you?
You know, we flew Bill Clinton and a lot of different, that was a humanitarian trip to Africa.
Yeah.
And I met him on that trip because it was his plane. I didn't know who plane we was getting on, but it was a whole bunch of dignitary people who was with a delegation.
Just for the record, you've been on his private plane.
Yes.
You've been to stay on his private island.
Yes.
You've stayed at his home in Palm Beach.
Yes.
I've always said that I'm not a saint, that I am a work in progress, but I will not be held hostage by my past.
You know, it's factually true that I was only at dinners. You know, I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, you know, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior.
Don't get to Hollywood and start sleeping with white women and doing cocaine, because it'll kill you. Oh, yeah.
What made you think, you know what, I'm just going to hammer him? I don't care what the...
Well, I thought, when they said, do you want to host the Golden Globes, all that stuff I said in the show was true. I said, I'm going to write my own jokes. Right? And I thought, who do I pander to? The 200 richest people in the room, or the 200 million people watching at home who aren't winning awards, who aren't millionaires? And it was a no-brainer. I was doing it for them, you know, and I didn't want to, it wasn't set out to hurt their feelings, but it was, if you're going to make it a spectator sport, then you better have something, there better be something in it for the people that...
Now, years later, information connected to Epstein is gradually being revealed. And some of the biggest names linked to those circles have reacted in a noticeable way. They have gone silent, almost as if they have disappeared. Gervais stood on that stage and openly challenged powerful people. He made it clear that he was not concerned about their connections or influence. And now, those who once laughed are no longer laughing. So let's examine who has gone quiet. First, there is Tom Hanks. His name does not prominently appear in any confirmed Epstein-related records, but it has been mentioned in a 2013 email involving Epstein's publicist in a context suggesting social interaction. There is no evidence of wrongdoing, but it creates a connection to a world he has never publicly addressed. Then came the rumors. Social media quickly filled with claims that Hanks had been banned from Greece, or had lost his citizenship. These claims were later proven false by fact-checkers. The story was fabricated. His name was
Ruth Ashcraft on Twitter, who has been accusing Tom Hanks of her when she was 13. Her dad sold her to Tom Hanks.
Since when has this brand of common decency and professionalism been put on hold just because of dynamics in the workplace. Is this what's going on with social media, that Oprah and I cannot go on a billionaire's boat to Tahiti with a former president of the United States and not keep it secret, for God's sake?
Then there is Leonardo DiCaprio. Gervais had often joked about him over the years, especially about his relationships and his preference for younger partners. At the 2020 Golden Globes, Gervais delivered a line that caught everyone's attention and
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, nearly 3 hours long. Leonardo DiCaprio attended the premiere, and by the end, his date was too old for him. So... Even Prince Andrew's like, come on, Leo, mate, you know. You're nearly 50, son.
Despite the humor, Leonardo DiCaprio's name has also appeared in discussions related to Epstein's network. In a 2009 email, former UK politician Peter Mandelson mentioned DiCaprio in a conversation about potential connections with international organizations. In another discussion from 2016, messages suggested the idea of hosting a dinner event and questioned whether DiCaprio might attend. Epstein himself reportedly attempted to arrange a meeting between DiCaprio and filmmaker Woody Allen, although there is no confirmation that such a meeting ever took place. Later, online speculation escalated further. Various rumors began circulating about alleged email exchanges involving DiCaprio and others, including claims of coded language. However, credible investigations and fact-checking efforts have consistently found no evidence supporting those claims.